Well, I'm asking foreigners today, what do you think of the food here in Malaysia?
Um,
Oh, well, I mean, you know, look, honestly, I like Thailand food better.
Yeah.
I went up to the counter today when I got my order and I was like, not too spicy.
Yeah.
But it was the perfect level of flavor and spice, so I really enjoyed it.
Love the food in Malaysia.
Yeah?
I love it, yeah. I like that it's like a blend of like,
It's nice, but it's not my kind of food, I would
No.
say. No. In my opinion, I think it's
Good day, folks. I'm here in Kuala Lumpur and I'm finding out what foreigners really think of the food here in Malaysia. Let's go. Okay, could you please introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Fatima. I'm from Canada, Toronto.
What are you doing in Malaysia?
I'm just visiting.
Visiting.
I've seen it on YouTube, so I wanted to check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm asking foreigners today, what do you think of the food here in Malaysia?
Some food is good. Some places are a little bit questionable. I mean, coming from Canada where I mostly eat at home,
Yeah.
I like sometimes my stomach has to get used to certain things. So like there's some places that I will pass up, but I mean food is good. It's
Yeah.
just like you gotta really be picky with where you eat and you gotta be careful because I don't want to risk food poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you had here so far?
I had satay.
Satay.
I like satay. I haven't had nasi lemak just because it's a little bit too spicy for my liking. Yeah. I'm not really good with the spice. It just hurts my tummy.
Stomach.
Yeah.
That's
But
fair.
I want to try it.
Yeah.
But like I did try the popular shawarma Damascus
Yeah.
that you always see on YouTube.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That's
yeah.
good. That's like the go-to Arabic food spot, Syrian
Right.
food spot here for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was pretty
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Overall, the food here, how's it compare to the food back in Canada?
I mean, Canada is it's also multicultural. Like you can find a lot of different foods in Canada. I guess here it's more choices, more selection, very overstimulating. Sometimes I get confused of what I should eat, so I just go home and have a bowl of cereal sometimes.
There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, like I get it why people like it. It's just I come from a background where I'm always eating at home, so it's like
Yeah.
a little bit stimulating.
What makes you cook back at home instead of eating out a lot? Is it for health? Is it just your preference?
It's for saving money. You
Yeah.
save a lot of money when you cook at home. Also, like sometimes my stomach doesn't tolerate like eating out as much, which is why like I think I don't eat as much here.
Yeah.
It's just because back in home, like you don't really know people's kitchens. You don't know if they like wash their hands. Like
Yeah.
some people deal with cash and then they deal with the food. So it's like,
Sure.
yeah, I'm just very sensitive when it comes to those things. So yeah.
So are you avoiding street food?
Yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I mean, I picked a good place to rent. I'm close to like Glen Eagles, that
Okay.
hospital.
Yeah.
So there's like a main road market there.
Sure.
It's pretty good, like on reasonable prices as well. But sometimes I do find like when I go in-house like sitting restaurants, sometimes the price is a little bit pricier than I expected it to be.
Sure, it can be.
Yeah, which is why I know people lean on street food because it's much cheaper.
Yeah.
But then I'm always like looking at the food. I'm like, how long has it been sitting outside?
It's true. I
Yeah.
feel like going at the right time is critical and you don't really ever know exactly, right?
Yeah. So
Okay, I'm going to ask final question. If you had to give a rating 1 through 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, how was your food experience here in Malaysia?
7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I want to give it higher, but like
No, that's okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lockie. I'm from Australia.
Daniel from Australia as well.
Luke from Australia.
Shiloh from Australia.
Matt from Australia.
And Sean from Australia.
All from Australia. Okay, awesome. And I'm asking foreigners today, what do you think of the food here in Malaysia?
It's a bit more expensive than we thought. We're paying like $5-6 a meal.
And how about the taste?
The taste is good,
It's good.
but you can get it hit or miss. It's really hit or miss, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it really depends where you go. We've been to local places and not so local, more like what we're used to. And I guess it's just more expensive and you get what we're used to, like English food and English breakfast and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's a bit more expensive here.
Yeah. No, like between the two. Local food is way cheaper, and then the English food's more expensive. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly, just been sticking to like chicken and rice for dinner as much as possible. It's a bit sketchy with some of the stuff. Try and be careful. But no, I mean, it's been good though. It's kind of what you'd expect coming somewhere like this.
So you've had some things you liked, some things you didn't love.
I mean, honestly, it's all been fine. Just to be safe, just stick to like chicken and rice, trying to avoid the cooked veggies and stuff like that.
All I can really add is probably just, I don't know, I think it's more expensive in KL than it would be in like Penang, from what I've heard. So I don't know if like a price is a problem. Like it's still pretty cheap. It's still very cheap, but if price is a problem, like if you're trying to save money as a backpacker, then probably go Penang. I think would be better for price. Yeah.
There's a lot of Malaysian food, but there's actually a lot of Indian food as well. Like a crazy amount of just Indian food. But I mean, it's still good. Like very spicy, but really good. Really good, yeah.
Are you a fan of Indian food?
Nah, curries are good, but I'm too white for spice, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there much Indian food like in Australia?
We have a few, not
So, yeah,
authentic
no, it's
though.
good.
Not authentic. No.
I mean, it just depends who you ask though. Like I like Indian food and I like spice, but he's the opposite. So
Yeah, it's definitely hit or miss with Westerners. Like either you can do spice or it's very much like no go, right?
I mean, it's just because you've grown up on it. Like my parents like it, so I've just been given it from a young age. So that's really the only reason. Yeah.
I mean, the food here is very unique. So if you're an Australian or just like, from Western culture, definitely try things, but sort of like check what food you're eating before you order it. Because like certain meats and things can be very sketchy. But yeah.
And I'm gonna ask one last thing for all of you. Give it maybe a rating out of 10 so far. 10 being the best, 1 would be the worst. Just overall, all the food that you've eaten.
Look, honestly, I like Thailand food better, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I'll give it an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably go like a 7.
7.
I'll go like an 8.5.
8.5. Okay.
Yeah, 7.
7.
I'd say a 9.
9.
Yeah.
All right, so a little all over the map. That's good. Good to hear. Well, thank you guys for doing an interview. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm Steph and I'm from Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So today I'm asking foreigners, what do you think of the food here in Malaysia?
Love the food in Malaysia.
Yeah?
I love it, yeah. I like that it's like a blend of like really good Indian food, Chinese food, and Malaysian food. I just love it.
Nice.
That's really
Do you have a favorite thing to eat here?
Roti canai
Roti
is my
canai.
favorite, yeah. I love it. Because you can't get it really good roti canai in many other places, so every time I come here, it's the first thing I get.
Do you have it back in Ireland at all?
No.
No.
No, there's one restaurant in Dublin, in one of the counties in the whole country that I
Really?
found that does it, yeah.
And is it similar? Is it authentic?
It's good, but I don't think it compares to like the one you get here, I think.
Interesting. So you've tried a lot of the different foods here?
A good bit, yeah.
Do you like Indian food? Are you a fan of Indian food?
Love Indian food. Yeah, I really like it. But I like it in India or in Malaysia, but I find that this Indian food you get in like London or maybe in Ireland, I don't think it represents
same.
India. It's not the same. It's not as good. It's too
Same
much.
in America. Same.
Yeah.
We have a ton of it, but it's not quite as authentic.
It's too creamy and buttery and stuff, whereas when you go away, it's like more vegetarian, lighter, and in India and here. Like the Indian food here is amazing.
More spicy, maybe. Do you like spicy?
No. I don't, but I find here it's easy enough to get food that's not too spicy.
Yeah, I agree. Much more than like places like Thailand or some other countries. It's like they kill you with the spice. Here, they tell me it's spicy, and it's like actually it's not too bad.
It's not bad because I think a lot of the times the spice is in like a little bit of a sauce, like sambal or something on the side, and you mix it in with the food. Whereas in Thailand, they mix those chilies like straight in, and like I can't eat anything.
Okay, and if you had to give a rating 1 out of 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, what would you say overall food in Malaysia?
Food in Malaysia, I'd give it a solid 8.
An
I
8.
think, yeah.
Okay. And what would you give back in Ireland?
Oh, we're not famous for our food. We're famous for our pubs. Like you don't see Irish restaurants around, you see Irish pubs.
Yeah.
So the food out of 10,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with like a 5. I think
Wow, okay.
the seafood's good on the coast and stuff, but I don't think it has the variety or maybe the flavors that
So Malaysia wins by far.
Malaysia wins.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hi everyone, my name's Abby and I'm from England and the Philippines.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What brought you to Malaysia?
I'm actually just on a layover and I have my wonderful crew with me. So we have 26 hours in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, so very excited to be
How
here.
come only you are doing the interview? Your crew doesn't want to do it.
I think they're a little bit shy, so I'm here.
That's good.
Happy
Okay.
to be here.
Well, thank you for doing it.
No problem.
All right, so I'm asking foreigners today, what do you think of the food in Malaysia? So from what you've eaten so far, how do you feel about it?
Well, I had just some sort of fish slash chicken curry today, but I found that there was loads of options regarding like the spice and everything. So I do think there's a really great range of the food here.
Did you like it? It was good?
I did actually really like it, but I really like Indian, Asian food in general, so that's why I liked it. I don't know if majority of the people would.
Yeah.
I think it's a really acquired taste,
Okay.
but yeah,
Do you like spicy food?
I like spicy food. Not
do.
too much. Not too much.
Yeah.
I went up to the counter today when I got my order and I was like, not too spicy.
Yeah.
But it was the perfect level of flavor and spice, so I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
And how's the food back home for you?
Well, I live in Dubai, so I think there's more of a diverse range of food, like different cultures.
Everything, right?
Literally everything.
Okay.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the food I had so far, and I'm excited to try more.
Okay, and last question. If you had to rate it out of 10, say 10 being the best, what would you give that meal or the food you've had?
Maybe a 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I think it could be better, but it was really good. Yeah.
And what about Dubai out of 10?
Maybe 8?
8?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tris. I am from Nairobi, Kenya.
Ah.
Yeah.
What brought you to Malaysia?
So it was my husband's birthday, so I surprised him. He didn't even know he was
Happy
coming
birthday.
here. So yeah, that's what brought us to Malaysia. A surprise trip for my husband.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm asking foreigners today, what do you think of the food here in Malaysia?
So at first the language was very, interesting. I couldn't understand anything when I look at the menu, but when I got down to the details, I can now understand that maybe they mean chicken. But then now one thing I've learned is when they say mild spicy, that is very hot spicy.
For you,
so
yeah?
for me.
Really?
So the food is really spicy.
So
Yeah.
the food in Kenya is not too spicy?
It's not too spicy unless you go to the Indian restaurants. So yeah, Malaysia is quite different. There's no like African food, so you get to do a lot of chicken and rice. I even wonder how everybody's keeping in shape.
Well, Malaysia is known as, I think, like one of the most obese countries in the world.
Obese. I don't see anybody else.
No, yeah. On paper, that's what they say. I don't know, and it would make sense because it is such high sugar and like it's not healthy food, right? It's fried.
It's not healthy food. That's
fair.
why I've become obese only in 2 days.
You can walk a lot here. I will say that. Like you can walk a lot in the city. Maybe in Kenya, from what I think of it in Kenya, it's like it's not really walkable, right?
Yeah, it's not walkable. Here the streets are so clean. My shoes are still clean, and yet I've
Very
walked the
good.
whole.
That's
I
good.
don't know for how many kilometers. Yeah, but it's a very nice city to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. And the last question, I'm going to ask you to rate the food out of 10. 10 is the highest. 1 is the lowest. What would you give it overall in Malaysia?
I'd give it an 8 because it's rich. They really embrace their culture, so that's what I like about it. Unlike Nairobi, yeah, I haven't even been tempted to order KFC here.
That's good.
So that's good. Yeah.
That's good to hear because everybody does that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really I'd rate it at 8.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, hey, Ben, I'm Adam. I'm from Sydney, Australia.
Oh, nice to meet you, Adam.
Yeah, you too.
So, what are you doing in Malaysia?
I'm up here for work, yeah. So I come here a few times a year for about the last 10 years. Yeah, yeah, it's a great place. Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Good. So, you have experience with this question. That's good. So,
Oh, I don't know what the question is,
well, so I'm asking foreigners.
Okay.
What do you think of the food in Malaysia?
Oh, well, I mean, you're probably going to think I say this in all the cities I go to, but I love the food here more than anywhere. But I almost do. I mean, I think the great thing about food in KL and Malaysia generally, is it's a real literal melting pot. You've got the traditional Malay cuisine mixed up with Indian, mixed up with Chinese, mixed up with Arab, so it's a real, kind of, melting pot of flavors, Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Do you have a favorite within all of those things?
Oh, one of my food heroes, Anthony Bourdain. You probably know him, yeah. Used to say, if you're getting sick while you're away, get out of the f***ing hotel buffets. Get out and eat some street food. I'm staying in a nice 5-star hotel, but
Don't brag. No.
but this morning, I skipped that. I listened to Bourdain in my head, and I just went out and had a beautiful $2 breakfast by the roadside. Heaps of egg. Heaps of protein, heaps of flavour. Yeah, it's great food around here,
Do you mix it up and eat some Western food when you're here too?
I try not to.
Yeah.
You know, it depends. You know, I mean, I'm not going to say I've never eaten Western food in KL. Yeah, but but wherever I am, I'm trying to eat local food as much as possible. You know, I think
good.
like most people. Yeah, I don't want to come here and have a burger or spaghetti bolognese. Yeah.
Of course. You'd be surprised how many people come here and just pop into McDonald's first
But they
thing.
do, yeah. You know what I mean? I was in Ho Chi Minh City a few weeks ago, and you know, there's a bunch of guys. You know, I don't know where they're from, UK, US, Australia, and they're chowing down on their KFC. You know, I'm like, well, what's the point? But you know, hey, they're not doing much wrong. You know.
I don't get it. Some of the people I interview about this question, for example, they'll say, I don't know, I don't think it's that great. Like I tried like the KFC here. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, my son, when he travels, he wants to go to the Macca's, you know, to go, what have they got here, you know? And I must admit, you know, I was lucky enough to go to the Philippines when I was a teenager with my dad. He used to live up in Manila. And yeah, one of the first things I did was go to McDonald's in wherever we were, downtown Manila. And I was, wow, oh God, they got spaghetti here, you know, and I've never forgotten that.
I hear questionable things about the food in Manila. What? That's not the topic, but I mean, I have to ask because I hear it's quite, let's just say, not as good as in Malaysia.
I don't want to say not as good, not as bad. I'm not as experienced with Philippines. I've been there a few times. Yeah, but I've got some really good, you know, culinary memories, if you like, from Manila. The lapu fish in Manila, it's one of the national, you know, seafood dishes.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's good?
Go and order lapu next time you're in downtown Manila. You won't regret it, you know?
All right, nice, cool.
Yeah.
One last question. I'm going to say, if you had to rate 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, what would you give Malaysia's food overall?
Oh, come on, you know. You know, I want to give it a 10, you know, but there's always room for improvement into there. You know, let's give it a big fat 8.5. All right?
There you go. Very
All
good.
right? Yeah, no, it's good.
What would you give Australia back home overall?
I mean, Australia's interesting, you know, because we're very, very multicultural. Yeah. A bit like the US, but perhaps even more so, you know. We've got a real mix of, you know, Asians, Africans, Arabs, Europeans, you know, South Pacific, all coming together into kind of one crazy cuisine, you know. But yeah, we are renowned as having some great restaurants and really fresh produce, you know. So
Quality's high, right? Like the
yeah,
actual
it is.
food.
You know, and Australian beef and seafood is pretty, you know, well sought after around the
I
world.
buy Australian beef here. Like mostly when I'm cooking at home, I'll buy the Australian imported stuff.
Yeah, and you see that, you know, in lots of countries you go around, you know. So, but anyway, your question was 1 to 10 for Australia. I'm going to give it 9.5. All right, but I could be a little bit biased there, you know.
That's fair.
Mate.
Thank you so much, man.
No worries, Ben. Have safe travels.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Good on you, mate.
Yes, my name is Jose. I'm from Spain. I live here in Malaysia for like 5 months now.
Cool. Very cool. So today I'm asking foreigners, what do you think of the food here in Malaysia?
It's nice, but it's not my kind of food, I would say. No. In my opinion, I think it's too heavy, too fried, too oily, in my opinion.
Okay. You say much different than the food back home in Spain.
Yeah, completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. I think it's much healthier in Spain.
Do you miss it? Do you miss the food from back home?
Totally.
Yeah.
Whenever I can, I go to Spanish restaurants here and eat Spanish food.
And so what do you get if you do have Malaysian food? Like what would be your choice to eat?
My favorite dish, Malaysian dish, is the kway teow. I think it's quite good.
Yeah.
But you know, you can only take it quite often, I would say, because it's too heavy. It's not for every day, at least for me.
Sure. So what do you end up eating on a regular basis? Do you cook your food or do you eat out a lot here?
I eat out, but in foreigner restaurants, foreigner food, yeah.
Do you think the foreigner food scene here is quite good?
Yeah, actually, you have a mix of cultures here. You have Chinese food, you have Indian food, all kind of Asian cuisine, Vietnamese, Thai. There is a wide variety to choose in this city.
Sure.
That's nice.
And do you have other foreigner friends here? I'm curious if you know, what do they think of the food here? How do you guys like speak about it?
I think the feeling is similar. Yeah, I have friends from Spain, from different European countries, and I think they think kind of the same as me.
All right. So last question: if you could give a rating 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what would you give overall the food in Malaysia?
Okay, let's go with a 5.
A 5.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. And what would you give your back home out of 10?
Spanish food.
Yeah.
10, of course.
10? That's good. Okay, thank you so much, man.
Thanks to you.
Thanks for watching, folks. Make sure you press that subscribe button, press that like button. I'd really appreciate it. And next, make sure you watch my video asking foreigners if they experience culture shock here in Malaysia. You can watch that right here.